are now listening to a Super Breakdown production. Follow us at The Super Breakdown on all social media. Thank you.
Welcome to the Super Breakdown. We are back. You know who it is. I am your host with the most, Power Maximus, and I'm here with the one and only, the man who needs no introduction himself.
Lord Triage, ladies and gentlemen, master of the Alpha and Omega.
You already know what it is. You know what we do here. We take your favorite heroes, your favorite villains, we break them down and open up a multiverse of possibilities with 2 words, 1 question, what if? So, today, I know we a little late on it, but we taking a look into the Black Panther. But not just the Black Panther, the Black Panther mantle. As in what the Black Panther really means. We're not just going to specifically sit on T'Chaka, Azari, or Bashinga. So we're just going to go through everything all together, the Panther in a whole. So, with that, we're going to start off with, I personally would like to start off with talking about Boss, the beginning of it all, the start of it all. So for those of you who don't know, the Black Panther gets, they get their power from a heart-shaped fruit. And it endows them with the power of the Panther god, Boss, which, gives them super strength, super healing, super speed, this, that, and the third, everything else in their mama. But now, what I found interesting when I was doing my research is that Boss is actually an Egyptian god. I didn't know that. She's the daughter of Ra, the son of God. Egyptian. I didn't know that. I find that really cool, them bringing in, them making that connection there. Which is interesting because even in the actual Egyptian mythology, she is a cat, and they bring her into the Marvel Universe as a panther, which is one of the big cats. I find it really interesting. I feel like Marvel does that a lot when it comes to their comics. We see them do it with Thor, the entire Norse mythology and all that. But yeah, so Boss started from the beginning, endows the first Black Panther, Bashinga, with the power of the Black Panther. And then from there, we can follow that all the way down. But I just really want to talk about the meaning of the Black Panther. What is the Black Panther? And I can say the Black Panther, it's a different meaning to different people. So, what would you say? What would you say the Black Panther means to you?
To me, it is one of the many forms of empowerment and representation that is really needed amongst Black people in modern day society. I talk with a lot of people about, the stuff we grew up watching that had the Black family or the Black scenario. And it's we watched Family Matters, we watched The Cosby Show, but it's I grew up in a middle class Black family in America. So I can't look at those and take them seriously as I would like to. And then when they try, it's harder to relate to it. And then when they try to redo it, they got to make it urban or make this person not clean no more. This person has their hands in the cookie jar, and it's just. So I'm really confused to how that became acceptable, and we all just nod and go along with it.
I wish I had a good way to say it, but it's perpetuating stereotypes. These shows were built to, and this is what I'm hoping that we don't end up seeing with the Black Panther. We're seeing a lot of, these strong Black characters. I don't want to say dumbed down because they're not dumbing the character. They're not dumbing the character down, but I'd say taking away the heart of the good of these Black characters. And this is what I hope we don't see happen with Black Panther later on down the line. That's why I'm so happy with Ryan Coogler, the way he portrayed Black Panther, Wakanda, and the Wakandas in general. They weren't. It wasn't a remake, a reboot. It was literally like they picked T'Challa up out of the pages
Hey,
of the comic book. I appreciate Ryan Coogler for like really just picking T'Challa up out of the pages of the comic book and dropping him into live action, and then of course picking an amazing actor to portray him. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But there's never gonna be a T'Challa or a Black Panther like him. To me, it's really to me, the Black Panther stands for progression. It stands for moving forward, ever growing, ever learning, you know, becoming better. Because that's what we see with the Black Panther mantle. Each person takes on the mantle of Black Panther and they improve upon it. Each king of Wakanda takes the knowledge of the previous, kings, and then builds off of it and creates something bigger, something better, something new. You know, starting all the way back from 10,000 BC all the way up to what something relative to what we've seen in the Black Panther movies. Super high tech. They have technology that the rest of the world doesn't even have yet. And they're they're a country that believes in isolation. So for a country to believe in isolation and still be ahead of the game, ahead of the rest of the world, I don't know. To me, that means a lot to me. That shows that strong progression, that growth, that building, that literal each one teach one for the next one to be better. That's personally what it. I don't know. That's just personally how what it means to me. What the mantle of Black Panther means to me. And then again, if you take a look at when the time that the Black Panther was made, and when the first time we see him, it's right. It perfect timing. I mean, of course, Stanley and Jack Kirby couldn't have planned it any better. Like middle of right in the civil rights movement, right when Black people needed a Black hero. Even though they denied it, they denied any kind of political affiliation, any kind of military affiliation. Because I don't know if you know this, Triage, but actually back in World War II, there was a battalion, an all Black battalion, that went by the name Black Panthers.
I did not know that actually.
Yeah, I was doing some research and I came across that. Right after the Black Panther Party, really came to fruition and stuff. Everyone, they started looking at Jack Kirby and Stanley like, oh, this is what you got. You guys started this, and they're like, we didn't start nothing. Our name has nothing to do with any political affiliation, any group organization besides our own, which we all know that was like, a little bit of BS, because it's the same reason why he did X-Men. Literally segregation, oppression of a different people.
All right.
Personally, I feel like the first time we see him in Fantastic Four number 52, like right off the rip, we see him. He goes against four of, at the time, some of the most well-established heroes in the Marvel comic book universe, and absolutely demolishes them without hesitation, without trouble at all. Absolutely demolishes them. And we take a look at T'Challa in himself. Aside from all his superhuman abilities from the heart-shaped fruit, the heart-shaped herb, sorry, we see the fact that he did study in America. He went to college. He's pretty much a genius. Only other person smarter than him is Shuri. And yes, he's still smarter than Tony Stark. Sorry, we love you 3000, Tony, but
I don't.
T'Challa's.
All
Why
hail
you
the
say
king.
that? All hail the king. All hail the king. Wakanda forever. All right, I feel that. Listen, I said Tony, not Bruce.
Him
I said
too.
Tony, not. Yeah, but you
Listen,
got.
man. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna throw this out there, not to interrupt you or jump off track, but this man can buy Gotham City. All right.
Yeah, but he don't need to buy Gotham because he literally has an entire country. Forget a city. My man owns a country. And let's talk
Right.
about that real quick. Let's just talk about the level of wealth that the Black Panther has. And he still be running them streets, running people's fades.
Basically. So
My
the
man
way
is a
it's
whole king running fade.
good God. So basically the way it's described is that with vibranium being such a rare commodity and it being so valued and treasured that it is one of the most sought and rarest minerals on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you like a little bit of a perspective, a piece of vibranium the size of a dime is worth $10,000. They have got a mountain of it that runs 2 miles into the ground.
Dude. Wow. That's oof. That's more than honestly, that's more than I expected. This is more than I thought.
Yeah. And that's just the vibranium. Let's not forget that Africa is rich in other things such as, gold, diamonds, uranium.
Diamonds. Oh yeah. Gold, diamond, uranium, and now sheesh. And all this from a rock that fell to space. That fell from space. Boy, I can't talk tonight. Fell from space 10,000 years ago. Like that to me, that's amazing. Like we see, like the amount of wealth he could buy 10,000 Tony Starks and still have money left over to buy Gotham City,
Right.
And Metropolis.
Probably Star City, probably Keystone.
So he has enough money to buy DC, you're saying? Enough money to buy DC Comics.
They say that Bruce Wayne Batman, they say his net worth is $3 billion. Now, Tony Stark, because of the shit he's involved in, and him being him selling weapons, his net worth's a bit higher. So he is, I want to say he's somewhere between 5 and 7 million. T'Challa is 70 trillion. 70 trillion. What are you telling me? Nothing.
Yeah, you got that. You got that. You got that. And now just imagine having a net worth of $70 trillion and being a genius. Like we see what Bruce Wayne does, whatever. He don't even do it. I've never seen Bruce Wayne actually truly really build anything really
that wasn't somehow related back to his mission or the Justice League or
like
that equivalent. No.
Even then, I've never seen him actually design and build something that wasn't already in production at Wayne Enterprises. All he does, anytime he needs something done, he's like, oh, well, Wayne Enterprises has schematics for this. Yeah, I can take this and put this with this and put this with this. And there I go, I have it. I ain't never seen him build nothing from scratch. Tony Stark literally he created a new element.
Yeah, this is true.
He created a whole new element.
But see, you want to know what? Bruce Wayne couldn't have done that, but Lucius Fox could have. So I'll say that.
Exactly. It's Lucius. It's Lucius. Lucius is Batman.
Behind every successful white billionaire, there is a highly paid black man.
That's a damn genius on top of that. Like, and even when you look at it, one of Tony Stark's strongest suits is made of vibranium.
Very true.
Like the amount that, if just looking at it, the Black Panther has contributed so much to the MCU, and it's not talked about as much as it really should be. Like, yeah, we all know Captain America would not have a shield if it wasn't for the vibranium in his shield. Now we're talking about comic book accurate. I'm talking Captain American shield that's a mixture of vibranium and anti. So, like, just thinking about that, like, so we got that. Not to mention all the other vibranium artifacts that are out there. Not to mention the money that he has probably fronted Tony for some of these things, while also still having to make sure that his country is good. Like, I don't know. I just really feel like his contributions don't really get like spoken about as much. You know, even
well, that's one of the things they touched on in the movie, because they were like, you know, when he got crowned, one of the first things the elder said to him is that we need a king, not a warrior.
Mm-mm.
I mean, yeah, Bruce Wayne runs Wayne Industries, with my air quotations,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, Stark runs Stark Industries with, like, once again with my air quotations. But this man is the king of an entire country.
Yeah. He literally, yeah, damn, man. That's like, he really stands out above the rest. Like, ain't nobody touching this man's. Like, they was wealthy before they was wealthy. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. Of like how, like, and now we're just talking about wealth. We're just talking about money and wealth. We're not even getting into the actual feats that the Black Panther mantle in general has accomplished. You know, Black Panther was, the all new, all different Marvels. He was a part of Civil War II. Yes, he was a big part of the Secret Wars. There's been multiple wars in Wakanda and for Wakanda that have been fought.
Right.
Like, not to mention, he also regularly teams up with other heroes, such as Reed Richards, such as Daredevil. He's always, mind you, again, also taking care of an entire country, fighting off people who continuously try to raid his entire country for the vibranium regularly, but still has time to team up with Storm, smash Storm, Mary Storm. Just want to point that out there, to help Reed Richards and Sue Richards what they need. Like, I don't know. It just bothers me, because I feel like he doesn't get. Everyone's like, oh, Black Panther, and the first thing to jump to is first notable Black superhero, but never really look into what that and that superhero itself has done. Like if I remember correctly, if I go back to it and really take a look at it, the first Black Panther, actually, let me take it back and let me fix what I said before. Bashinga, apparently there was in an alternate universe, there was a Black Panther, and apparently it was supposed to be something in the Stone Age Avengers.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know how I feel about that.
Like, now we got to look at, like I said, Bashinga. We have Azuri, which is also the name of T'Challa's son. Then of course we got T'Chaka, the son of Azuri, and his brother Sayan as well. Then we have Eric Killmonger. I mean, like the list goes on, and then of course most notable with Shuri, who ends up. Now Shuri's story is very interesting because she actually becomes a Black Panther without the abilities of the Black Panther.
Something I would like to point out is that Killmonger is actually not a member of the royal family in the comics.
Yeah, right. Which is interesting, but I like the way they played that in the movie, though.
Oh yes, I did too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but he's not actually a part of the family. That ain't his auntie. That's not really his auntie. But fill me in on that. Give me a little because I don't know too much about Killmonger's actual origins. Which, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. We will be speaking about Killmonger in later episodes. That is definitely one that's going to come up. So stay tuned.
Right. Well, I actually got a tattoo of Killmonger because he means a lot to me as a character. Because my grandfather, he died probably back in 10 years ago, and he said he was disgusted with modern day Black America because he said he felt our generation became what his generation always got called. That sense of entitlement, that laziness, that you feel you're owed this, so you act this way. Ooh, and
yeah,
I think it's really cool with him because a lot of people who I met, people who were white, I will say it, felt like he was an unrealistic character, and I was confused to why. They felt like his accolades were unachievable. And it's like, you had someone who was intelligent and motivated, and then he was pissed off on top of that, so that made it that much more fuel on the fire. There's nothing more dangerous than someone that's motivated and has time.
You've already shown us that. And What If? And if you haven't watched that episode of What If, you need to watch that episode of What If.
I believe it's episode 6.
What if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? You guys need to watch that because this is a testament to what Triage is saying right now. Killmonger, he was determined, motivated, and had nothing but time.
Now, I always go back to that line Eminem said and lose yourself. Sometimes fate only gives you one chance. Do you let it slip through your fingers or do you seize it with both hands?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of them things he did. Now, in the comic books, his story is a little bit different because he's not a member of the royal family. He gets kidnapped when Ulysses Claw originally invades Wakanda and steals the vibranium. And now he basically gets made like a slave and a servant.
Oh.
And yes, and he basically winds up rebelling against the person who kidnapped him. Now, it was Claw who took him, but he winds up in service to one of Claw's underlings. And one of the first things he does as a teenager is kill this guy. I forget his name, and it's driving me nuts at the moment. But right before Killmonger shoots him, he says to him, he's like, Eric, how could you do this? He's like, I've trained you. I've taught you everything you know. He's like, exactly. You've taught me everything I know. You taught me how to lie, cheat, and kill. And you're wondering why when it ended up at this inevitability, and then shoots him. And I'm thinking to myself, once again, is that monster that he became truly his own doing, or is it just the reflection of the society that created him?
That's a good point, and that leads back into what you were saying that your grandfather said. Was it is it naturally who we are, or is it what society made us to be?
right?
Is
And
that
it goes
is
back
that
to them things
conditioning?
that you. Not to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that was it. Yeah, it's conditioning. That's what it is. It's conditioning. Over time, small, slight, subtle changes over time, without will lead to a people not understanding, not realizing what's really happening until it's too late and it's already happened.
Right.
Until now, you're calling you're calling your enemy your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And I can definitely see that. And I to me that's some reverse Stockholm syndrome.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like,
I get
hey,
it. No,
you
we have to
turn me
break
this
barriers
way.
down, and we have to do it in with a smile on our faces and stuff like that. Like one of the people, once again, going back to Chadwick Boseman. Actually, if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen 42, yeah, like when he was playing Jackie Robinson, he had to endure
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of harassment and violation and disrespect, and couldn't fight back because of the color of his skin. Now you take that same person who also trailblazes the way in baseball for the Negro to play in the major leagues. But it's also like, you have to take this level of abuse and take it with a smile on your face to prove that you're good enough to play at this level.
It just, and again, this ties back to like what the Black Panther means to me, because it's to me it shows you don't have to live up to other people's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
In that situation, it's, oh, you want to play baseball in the major leagues, you want to be a legend, you can do it. You don't have to be a legend the way they want you to be a legend. You don't have to do it the way they have to do it. And you ain't gotta smile while they cuss you out. It's all about being the best possible version of yourself that you can be. Like you said, season every opportunity with both hands. Going into Killmonger, because Killmonger he did become Black Panther at one point
He
for a
does.
short period of time. Yeah. And
Right.
again, being determined, motivated, and season whatever time you have to hone your skills and become better. Because, like I said, you see T'Challa do this as you go through. He's young. He doesn't rush to become Black Panther. He doesn't just rush to become king. No, he goes through all this different schooling, learns all these different fighting styles, martial arts, you know, and he learns. He knows multiple different languages, and is, I believe he studied like engineering and like rocket science and engineering, if I remember correctly, from a while back. I read that a while back before even returning back to Wakanda. This is still, I think they said he returned back to Wakanda at like 21,
Mm.
21 or 23, and that's when he began his training to become the Black Panther and to become his father and to become king. Like that right there, you know, is the epitome of Black excellence right there. You know what I mean? That knowledge, that even then, that hunger for knowledge. You know the saying, the want, the want for money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
It's the complete opposite for knowledge. The want for knowledge is the root of all power, success, and happiness. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. And to see a Black superhero, you know, who takes that time, gathers as much knowledge as he can, and that's also what makes Black Panther such a force to be reckoned with, because he is so smart. He yearns for the knowledge. He always wants to know, what's this, what's that, how does this work, what does this do? And once he learns what it does, how it works, he then takes that knowledge and uses it to his advantage. Either he somehow incorporates it into his suit somehow, or incorporates it into his fighting style, or if it's him learning someone's weakness, using that weakness against them, and taking them down. And that's something that I really appreciate, and something that I really love about Black Panther, altogether.
And honestly, and with the day and age and the way the world's been looking, honestly, it was just a long time coming to me, because when I was a kid, I never really thought of race as a big thing. It was never something that, we openly talked about. You got taught your history lessons about people like, Jackie Robinson and like, Malcolm X, and then people who had to die for the cause like Emmett Till and Fred Hampton. But it's like, when you see the media and the performance of these characters, and now the fact that they conducted themselves regally, they were all intelligent, they had a certain level of style and coof, and they knew their culture, they knew who they were, you can't help but feel like a certain level of pride in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And that's exactly how I feel about Black Panther. There's so much pride there, and some people will be like, well, is there really pride there? It's a black character made by a white man, 2 white men.
Well, here's a quick history lesson with that. Like I have the Jungle Fury storyline where Killmonger is introduced. Shortly after Killmonger was introduced, and this is a well-known fact, that the Marvel publishers went to Jack Kirby and told him there wasn't enough white people in the Black Panther comic. Jack Kirby's response was to draw the next issue of him fighting the Klan.
Yeah, I remember that.
The cover of the issue is him holding a burning Klan hood. If that's not gangster, I don't know what is.
And exactly, stuff like that. I have to tell him, was like, it's not about who it was made by. It's about what it was made for. What the intent behind the creation of this character was. The intent behind this character was to uplift the black population of its time, and to the fact that they weren't expecting this character to blow up as big as he did. They made a character for that time period, and in turn, they end up creating a character that can stand the test of time. Black Panther's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. The mantle of Black Panther is not going anywhere. From the beginning, from the very beginning, I believe it was like 6 months, either 6 months or 6 years after the appearance of the Black Panther is when the Black Panther Party actually came together. If I remember, if
I want to say it was 6 weeks.
Oh, maybe I'm off on that. Maybe it was 6 weeks. October of '66. Yeah, yep, that was the founding of the Black Panther. Yeah, October 1966 was the founding of the Black Panther movement. It was 6 months. It was 6 months. Because the Fantastic Four number 52, that issue dropped in July of '66, and the Black Panther Party formed in October '66. So, and even then, let's be clear. That's the cover date. That's a date that it actually got a cover, not the date the story was created and published. 100%. That was just when it was published with the cover. So now, And they even tried to budge on it a little bit and have him change his name to Black Leopard.
Yeah, they hint on that subtly in the movie with the whole thing with Killmonger's suit with the whole gold and the trimming and everything. I thought that was interesting the way they touched on that. But
oh yeah,
I kind of understand that because it's like, you want to distance yourself from this group and the stuff that they're doing, and there could be misconfiliations. Like, for example, they just changed the Punisher skull because of everything it's been associated with in the last few years, and that makes me sick to my stomach.
But even then, this storyline even makes it sicker too. The storyline that they try to put to that to make it make sense doesn't make sense.
Right?
Like they wrote it to have Frank be the one turning away from the skull. But he's still got a skull. The skull just so happens to have horns on it.
Yeah, it looks more demonic now. So it's like, anywho.
Yeah. It's still the same thing. And when it came to him calling himself Black Leopard later on down the line, like not even too far down the line, I think it was like he ended up changing it back in around like Avengers 105.
Mm-hmm.
And they had him state that like they asked him about it, like the other heroes asked about it, what's good with the name change, and he just put it, renaming myself made as much sense as altering the Scarlet Witch's name. I am not a stereotype. You are who you are, and anyone that tries to come along behind it, then that's on them, But even then, just taking a look at who Stanley and Jack Kirby, let me put it this way. Who inspired them to make Black Panther? You have people like Mansa Musa, Marcus Garvey, strong Black, figures like that that went into creating this character. I personally, I just find it absolutely amazing, and that this character has such a rich culture and a rich background, and to me, a rich future. Like this character, like he's gone toe to toe with Dr. Doom.
And Doom's a goon. Doom is a whole goon.
And again, stay tuned because we're gonna be talking about that one too. We're gonna be talking about him too. My man went toe to toe. No, okay. It wasn't T'Challa, it was T'Chaka. It was either Anzari or T'Chaka that that Captain America went toe to toe with. It was one of those two, because it couldn't have been T'Challa, because at the time T'Challa would have been too young. Because
right.
It was around a time where Cap was like super active and everything. It was before he went on ice.
Right. Another thing I would like to point out is the fact that his story has never received a major rewrite.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that is that, like, for example, Anthony Mackie's character, the Falcon, Sam Wilson was originally a pimp. I'm talking wide-brimmed hat, glasses with the cane pimp. You hear me? All right?
Nah, bro.
Son, they rewrote him as the whole soldier thing. That's why they make that joke in the TV show where he was like, I look like I'm dressed like a pimp. Oh, only an American would think a fashion-forward dressing black man that looks like a pimp. That's why they made that joke.
Oh, no, I did, man. Hold on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Or like Luke Cage had to be a criminal. At first, he was framed, and then wound up going to prison. Then he winds up getting his abilities, turns to a life of crime. And then they were like, oh, he winds up getting responsible for getting a guard paralyzed. And then he tries to turn his life around working as the hero for hire. And it's just like, nah, like you had the story. Why were you messing with it?
Oh, damn. He really was a pimp. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't even know that. That makes that scene even funnier now. Damn it. I gotta go back and watch the episode. That makes that shit even funnier now that I know that. I didn't know that. Well, damn. Well, gee, you're right. He really hasn't had like a major rewrite. And that, I guess, I mean, I don't know whether that would be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, a part of me will say it's a good thing because that means they did it right the first time. They got it right the first time. They didn't have to go back and fix anything. There was no harsh, maybe bad African American stereotypes. There were no, even if you look at the art, the art style of, T'Challa back then in the old comic books, like
it was a little blackface. It was a little blackface.
It was a little bit, but even then, it quickly like became not. At the same time, they gave more strong features. Like I'm not seeing like the big discolored, big pink lips or anything. They've always given like and even it's not like a big head, not like big ears that are like protruding from his head or anything. Every photo I've personally ever seen has given him a strong jawline, very muscular and masculine face, and his lips have always been the same color as his skin tone, because if you look at the old blackface stuff, you're seeing like big pink oval lips and just a whole bunch of racism. But wait, what? I just came across a picture of Black Panther T'Challa as a cowboy.
Good Lord.
Jesus, no. Why? Is this from an actual comic book too? What? Why?
Who knows? Maybe it was a what if story.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. Maybe it was like, he got thrown to a portal and he had to dress up, to fit time period. There's a lot of those going around.
Right.
But yeah, Black Panther all the way.
Another thing that I think is great about the Panther in himself is and I hope that they do this and they do this correctly, is I would like them to actually like to see them touch more on the Panther's rogues gallery.
Because there's Claw, Man-Ape. I doubt they're gonna do Man-Ape.
Well, they did it. The Man-Ape. They did M'Baku. M'Baku was the Man-Ape.
Yeah.
The dude who's the leader of the Jabari.
They didn't call him Man-Ape though.
Well, because Disney knew that was going to be a shitstorm if they did. we can't call no 6'6" brother wider than Adora a monkey. That's not going to work. Every time I hear the King Louis song at work, all I say here is this racist shit.
Oh man. Even so, let's see. So okay, so we got M'Baku, Man-Ape, Eric Killmonger. We have Ulysses Claw. Apparently the Rhino. He's fought Rhino a few times too.
Yes. I'd imagine he's found himself over in the plains of Africa on a few occasions.
Yeah, that man need to be careful out there. They out for his meat.
Yeah, so the Panther has had several enemies. You've just named a few. Like one big, not necessarily enemy, but he's like how can I put this? He would be T'Challa's opposite, besides Killmonger, is Namor.
Ooh, how could I forget about Namor?
Another thing I think is interesting, like Nakia.
Yeah, even I don't even know his whole gallery.
Yeah, so like the one guy who I would think who might be actually do some damage. He's like the Wakandan version of the Joker. He called if I'm mispronouncing this, please forgive me. I want to say it's a Shikabi.
And he's like, you said he's like the Wakandan Joker.
Yeah, he's basically a living anarchist.
That sounds terrifying.
Right? Like, could you imagine if the Joker had access to Wakandan tech?
Man, come on. That is out of pocket. That is horrifying. Because we already know what a Joker can do with Wayne Tech. Just Wayne Tech. And Wayne Tech is doo-doo.
Compared to Wakanda Tech.
Like, hasn't he also fought Craven too?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going against Craven, so that might be interesting since they're dropping a Craven movie. We got White Wolf. Yes, Akabi. I think it's Akabi. Because CH makes the K.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me.
Yeah, Akabi. Yeah, he made a bargain with Mephisto. He's one of the most powerful demons in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, Mephisto's another one he's had beefs with.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. Of course, Claw Tattoo as well. He's a Wakanda magician.
Yeah, I see them doing that, but not as a good like base villain. Maybe it's like a side character.
Yeah, it's like somebody that like works alongside the main villain. Like the main villain like employs his help.
Right.
And then of course, I forgot, it was it's an alternate universe. She's a multiverse version of Shuri, essentially. Chana. She's essentially she's Doctor Doom. She's a Doctor Doom variant.
What?
And she is one of the T'Challa. Look her up, T'Challa. From let me see here. Earth 2301. Yeah, she has all of Doctor Doom's intelligence and capacity for evil, as well as his propensity for magic. Yeah. And she's in this universe, she's T'Challa's sister.
Serious?
Yeah. And then of course I feel like the biggest person that I feel like he's gone against, aside from a literal demon Akabi, is Doom. This man he's technically thousands of years old. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's going to take away from what we can talk about in the next in his episode, but technically Dr. Doom is thousands of years old. The Fantastic Four, all four of them, stay getting spanked by Dr. Doom. Black Panther is one of the few that can go toe-to-toe with him. I just find it funny how... I don't know. So, like, where would you like to see them take the Black Panther mantle going forward, bro?
Honestly, well, the movie did a lot of good things as far as, like, culture and identifying. Because one of the things, one of the issues it addressed is it addressed national identity versus racial identity. So it's like, you had someone who came in who thought, we're all one people, opposed to another group who was like, no, we're our own people. And it's like in America, that's really been a real big issue as of late. People are more, you hear, it's not a white black problem, it's a rich poor problem. It's not a rich poor problem, it's a right left problem. You know what I mean? It's not right left, it's this, that. So then opposed to everyone just going, we all agree what's wrong. Why can't we just fix it? With that being said, I think that having a nice political stance on stuff would always be good, addressing like modern day issues, whether it be like racial identity or how black people conduct themselves as a whole. And the one thing I honestly would like to see is I would like to see Shuri not necessarily take the mantle, but like carry it for like a movie.
Yes. Yeah, I will. I agree. I would like to see that too. I mean, personally, it's gonna be difficult because I know that they're having problems with the actress that plays Shuri. You know, because of COVID and everything, and her being a strong anti-vax, strong anti-vax, strong no mask and stuff. I know they're having a hard time with her, which is why Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever is really having a hard time getting off the ground. But I would definitely like to see the character Shuri like really brought in as a Black Panther, because I find her story very interesting. She is literally the one Black Panther that Boss did not bestow the power to. She ate the heart-shaped herb, but upon speaking with Boss denied her as the Black Panther. She said, "Screw that." She used her tech, built her own suit, remained Queen of Wakanda, and then used her tech to essentially make her into the Black Panther instead of using Boss. Which in turn, after doing that, Boss in turn does actually decide, you know what? No, you are worthy. And that's right when T'Challa ends up coming back to Wakanda. So now there's two Black Panthers running around. One Shuri, one T'Challa, and both wielding the power of Boss, the blessing of Boss. Which I personally would, and certainly would love to see that, and love to see that bring in. I agree with you. I would love to see some more political standpoints, because at the end of the day, T'Challa is a king. He is a politician. Yes,
Right.
he's a hero, but he's also a Black man now essentially living in America. After 5 years of being, dusted, having to come back. Because honestly, this is really what it's going to be. It's going to really be the aftermath of the snap. Wakanda
Right.
went 5 years without a king, because Shuri was gone too.
Yeah. So it's like, who was in charge? Who was running shit? Like who? Like and it's another thing that was really interesting was there was a lot of animosity that had developed because of the stuff that got revealed between, T'Chaka killing Njobu, and then them leaving young Ndijaka in Oakland on his own. Like, you know what I mean? And that's another thing too, because everyone talks about how people felt like Daniel Kaluuya's character Wakabi. People felt like Wakabi was a traitor because he sided with Ndijaka. He sided with Killmonger. Nah, he saw Killmonger as someone who was going to get shit done. Like, oh, he didn't take him back to the UN. He didn't take him back here. He didn't take him. He brought him back where he belonged to face justice. There was no politicking. There was no kissing babies. There was no shaking hands. He got the job done. Why couldn't you do that, T'Challa?
Exactly. There was no cat and mouse game. It was, he did what needed to be done to protect his people. I feel that. I kind of, but I can see where it is, because at that point, T'Challa is torn between his own beliefs, but also upholding his father's beliefs as well, but also having to stand as a representative of an entire country who may not be, who majority are still old school, who are still traditional, who don't believe. The thing about T'Chaka is T'Chaka did believe in that progress and that progression, which is why in the movie we see that he died at the UN. He was at a meeting at the UN, and he was going to, start to work with the outside world a little bit more. That's something I would like to see more. I would like to certainly see more politicking, but I'd also like to see more suit action too.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, also all depending on who the villain's going to be for this, because that still hasn't been released. All we know is a name and a release date. We know nothing about the story.
That's very true.
So if anything, they could just go a completely different direction. And now, yeah, let's also point out the fact that this movie is coming out after Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah.
So we have no clue what Multiverse of Madness is going to change, Multiverse of Madness is literally it's a soft reboot, so we actually might end up seeing another T'Challa. We might end up seeing a world where Eric Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, is T'Challa. We might actually, yeah, right then and there, we actually might see Michael B. Jordan playing T'Challa. I can see that. I'd like that. I'd respect that. I'll take that.
Oh yeah, I would definitely co-sign that.
Michael B. and Boseman were really good friends.
Or even if we saw a version of him where he got brought home and like he got raised amongst his people and like how that affected him.
And instead of T'Challa becoming the Black Panther, it was Killmonger who was chosen to be, fit to be the Black Panther.
Right. Or maybe they worked it out to split the duties, like T'Challa is the king while Killmonger is the soldier.
Yeah, I can see that. See them being raised together as best friends.
And see, this is one of those things why they had to make him a member of the royal family. Now, in the comics, it got revealed that only members of the royal family can ingest the heart-shaped herb. If you're not a member of the royal family, it poisons you.
Yeah, because they're descendants of
Washinga.
Yeah. So here's my thing. This is what I'm thinking. Is that Boss had children. The children of Boss, they lived within the mountaintops of Basilet or Basamet.
Ba Sing Se.
There's no war in Ba Sing Se. But yeah, so they lived there, but they lived as Panthers. But they had the ability to take human form by using Boss Emerald Gem or the green gem of Boss. So again, I would like to see some. This has probably been explored at some point in time, but what if it's the fact that the royal family are descendants of the descendant of Boss children, which is why they're the only ones that can ingest the heart-shaped herb.
It definitely makes sense.
And now the thing is, what came first, the vibranium meteorite or the heart-shaped herb?
Well, it would have to be the vibranium meteorite, because I would think the herb was already there, and then maybe that the vibranium just caused it to mutate.
I believe that's what they were going for in the movie. The heart-shaped herb was a byproduct of the meteorite, so I think that's what they're trying to go with there. But I don't know. I would love to see that. I would love that a little bit of that explained a little bit more. How the heart-shaped herb came about. Why is it that the royal family are the only ones that can ingest this herb? I don't know. I think that'd be really good. Of course, I want to know who the hell the villain is.
My money's on Namor.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too. Cause I would really like to see Namor. Finally see Namor. And I don't know. I would also live to see who was it? The dude that played Owen Shaw.
Luke Evans?
Yeah, Luke Evans. I love to see Luke Evans as Namor. I feel like
really?
that fan art was pretty on point.
Interesting.
I feel like fan art was pretty dope. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's a typecast kind of thing. Because you see the way they cast the dude that played Jon Snow as a knight.
Yeah, right? Listen, man. You know my feelings on typecasting, all right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's racism. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I really look forward to seeing what they got going on. With Black Panther 2. It's gonna be lovely to see. Hopefully they get Shuri's actress on board and she stopped playing games and gets everything straight, gets herself together. But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the Super Breakdown. I'm your host, Power Maximus. You already know I'm here with the one and the only
Lord Triage.
And we back at it again. You're gonna be catching more episodes from us coming out soon. Next thing we got it going on, we're gonna take a look at Deathstroke on the next episode. And there you have it, your favorite character broken down, given all types of multiversal possibilities. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and remember, check in on the next episode. All right, peace.
Peace.